Hi there. Today we are talking about intention. Okay, so I know that a lot of you have these kits, or you're thinking about buying one, or you're thinking about trying a ketamine journey to see if it might be right for you. Okay, well, one of the things that is in that list of things when you were reading on the website is talks about intention. Okay, intention is what do we intend the medicine to do? Okay, first of all, your first intention needs to be to the medicine, that you think that this is actually going to help you. If you don't have that intention, if you go in with an intention of, oh, I've tried everything and this also is not going to work, I can guarantee you it's not going to work for you. Because if your intention is literally to disrespect the medicine, that's what you're going to get. But if your intention is to really get the most out of this medicine and see what it can do for you, you're going to have a much better experience. Now, as far as the intention goes, it needs to be something that you are actually interested in doing and changing in your life. Okay, so a lot of us have an intention of being more self-aware, and that's a pretty common intention, and I think it's a really honorable one. Because being self-aware is not a single thing. It's multiple things. And it takes a very long time to, I guess, be monk-like and be completely self-aware. Most of us will never become completely self-aware. We always have blind spots. And that's what the medicine can help us with. But some of us, our blind spots are so big that it's preventing us from getting out of this depression or anxiety cycle that we're currently in. So your intention should be to be self-aware to where how you can help yourself better. And that is what the intention is. So the first intention needs to be the medicine. The second intention needs to be something you want. So, like I said, to be more self-aware, to be less anxious, to be able to stand up to someone, the bully that you haven't been standing up to understand self better, it needs to be something personal. It needs to be something about you. If we are doing ketamine without intention, we are strictly having a disassociated experience, or, we might as well be at a nightclub. Okay, and this is not, first of all, that is not the same kind of experience that you're going to have at home in a therapeutic environment. That experience is something different. In fact, I've never had it, so I really shouldn't even be commenting on it because I've never had a recreational ketamine experience. I've only had therapeutic experiences. And I can tell you that therapeutic experiences are very valuable. If you frame it correctly, if you use the medicine correctly, you are going to see some kinds of changes. Now, the efficacy, which means how effective this drug is, it ranges between 60 to 80%. So that's not 100%. But I can tell you that in that range of people that it doesn't help, perhaps they weren't right for the medicine. Because the medicine does require that you surrender, that you let the subconscious mind free. Now, it can be very hard to let the subconscious mind free. I am a pretty controlling person, and I struggled to let the subconscious mind become truly free. I really did. It took me about 8 sessions. I was constantly trying to see when the session would be over. I was trying to do household tasks in my head. I was doing all the same kinds of things that I do when I sleep. And this wasn't beneficial to me. I wouldn't surrender to the medicine. And then one day I did decide to do the medicine. And when I did it, I decided this is my last dose. I'm just going to let it rip and just see what happens. And that was probably my first therapeutic ketamine experience. And that literally took 8 sessions. And that's on me, but that's how long I took. But that might not be you. I have had clients who surrendered to the medicine on the very first experience. Now, a lot of these companies do suggest a low dose beginner A lot of these companies suggest a low dose acclimation dose, and that's to get you used to the medicine. And I am going to tell you that you definitely need to do those. I have tried to work with clients without doing that, and I don't think, because they were very concerned about the cost, so I didn't require them to do the acclimation dose. And now remember, I am not the one who makes how much we dose and when, because I am a counselor. I'm not the doctor. So the doctor or the nurse practitioner told you what you should be doing, and you need to follow the rules that they have provided for you. But the medicine is there home with you, so you can pretty much move it around however you'd like. And I do believe these acclimation doses are very critical. I think that you need to have at least one, and I understand why there's apprehension to do two, because the medicine does cost a lot, and you want to make the most of it. So you don't want to do an acclimation dose, and I understand that. And so if we can avoid it, let's try to avoid it. But if we can't, if we've never had a out-of-body experience, if you never, like, for instance, I want to give you my background. I never had an out-of-body experience before ketamine. I have been a very low recreational drug user my whole life. In fact, I was mainly a drinker when I was young. I didn't do a lot of that kind of thing. So I hadn't ever had that kind of an experience. So my first and probably my first 6 doses, it would take me back to a time when I had something called the Hong Kong flu. And I know that sounds super racist now, but at that time it wasn't. And I was probably in 1st or 2nd grade, and I had a very high fever. And I kept imagining these little men coming up and walking on the bed and hitting me with a hammer on the head, because I had a very bad headache. And so when I would have the ketamine experience, it would always take me back to that moment, into that experience, because that was the only disassociated experience I've had. So if you had other disassociated experiences, I would imagine it may take you back there because it feels so similar. Okay, but that's what these acclimation doses are about, and that's why you should participate in them. I want to encourage you to participate in them, but I understand if that isn't a good fit for you because of cost. And so we'll try to do them with a minimal of those acclimation doses. But I do think the acclimation doses do help. And then after we have gotten used to the concept of disassociating, then we can move on to a more therapeutic dose, where we do have a true out-of-body experience, and we can really experience what it's like to have that kind of disassociation, to where our subconscious mind is free and it can actually talk to the conscious mind. And when we have that type of experience, then we're going to see the therapeutic benefit. So anyway, that was my talk for today, and I look forward to talking to you again more. And thank you so much for giving me both your heart and your mind. And we will continue on this journey of being intentional, and you have a good day.